Hey guys, this is Real Appalachia with Shane
and Melody.
And today we're back in the Mac telling you about one of Melody's favorite stories.
Yes, The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. It was a book and also a movie which Shane watched.
Yes.
And so I had jotted down the addresses of the grandmother's house and her house. And I just wanted to get a look at it, and I thought some of you guys might want to too.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see this myself because I did watch the movie, and so it leaves a certain image in your head. So
yeah,
we're going to check it out.
And I would think that she would probably have went to the high school that we show on the Welch video.
Yeah.
But I can't say that for sure. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you watch the Welch video also.
Yes, so let's get on with it.
Alrighty then, we're heading up Court Street. And this was where Jeanette Walls' grandmother in Welch lived. It didn't give an exact address that I saw from the book, but it was Court Street, so it could really be any of the places that we passed through here, or it could be a house that was demolished already.
Oh.
And I think that's a really neat building.
Oh yeah, well then I'm going to have to turn around and go back up that street right there to get there. So it's up the mountain.
But this is Court Street, so really her grandmother's house was just up this road. We don't know exactly where, but then maybe we can cut back because the little yellow house that she lived in Welch, it was down Hobart Street, and
we'll get there.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
You said we passed it, so.
Yeah, we passed the turn for that, but yeah, you're a huge fan of that book, aren't you?
I am. I love it.
And you say the book's better than the movie.
Yeah, and I really liked the movie, but the book was way better. There was just so much more detail and everything to it. And I know you say it's dark, but I think that it's very uplifting because she had a hard life and troublesome childhood, and she overcome it, and her siblings did too. I mean,
I felt some of it jarring. I mean, it was definitely a eye-opening book, no doubt about, or movie. I didn't read the book. I'm not gonna sit here and claim that. If she had to drive this road every day, that's right off the bat. Challenging life.
I don't think they had a vehicle, but
if they did, hopefully it didn't drag like mine does. But no, the movie, I really liked it.
This is actually continuing Court Street.
Yeah.
Or at least that's the way the sign looks now. So, again, could have been any of these houses down through here.
Or it could be one demolished like that one, so you just don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it kind of gives you an idea.
Yeah.
Which, like he said, I'm a big fan, so it's just cool to kind of go with your imagination, because that's one thing I like about reading more than the books anyways, is you kind of get these own images in your head, and sometimes the movie isn't spot on anyway, so it's not like...
How do you feel like the movie versus the book, as far as comparing them? Was it pretty true to it, or...?
Yeah, it's just, it leaves out a lot of details and stuff.
Which they have to do for time, yeah.
What do you hope audiences take away from this film that maybe they can't take away from the book?
I think that each of the actors provides such an incredible visual of who these characters are. Woody Harrelson in particular, I think he just so fully inhabited my father and got Dad on such a deep level.
Yeah.
And became my father, and it was in a compassionate way as well. He wasn't looking to make fun of a drunk, a violent drunk, and he could have done that, but he wasn't satisfied with that. I think a lot of people don't read, and I think it'll reach the people who don't read, but even those who do, books can do something that movies can't, and movies can do something that books can't, and the movie gives people an incredible visual representation of what went on.
Yeah, she loved her dad, and she loved her parents and everything, but they just had a lot of their own issues, and her dad was just like this gypsy soul. He just couldn't, and he was a big idea man.
Rich city folk live in fancy apartments, but their air is so polluted they can't even see the stars. We'd have to be out of our minds to trade places with any of them. This is as real as it gets, kids. You learn from living.
You see that a lot. I mean, that was, I could relate to that.
Yeah.
It's relatable. I don't know, it caused me a little pain, and I don't know why. Like you said, at the end of the day, you feel really great about her overcoming and persevering, but I guess I felt sad that all the hardships that had to face to get there, I guess.
Yeah. She talks a lot about, like, in her younger years being, like, embarrassed, like, of them too.
Yeah.
Because they followed her to New York and...
You gonna tell them about us?
You shouldn't be ashamed of us just because we choose a different lifestyle than you. Why did you lose your sense of adventure?
like being embarrassed of them and everything. So I think that it shows a lot of self-development too, that she was able to overcome that and appreciate the way that she grew up, because I mean, good and bad, everything we go through in life makes us who we are.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And then and that's relatable too. You can see how that a lot of people are that way. You're trying to grow, and you know, your parents, and that's just typical anyway. You always think your parents are not cool and all that other stuff, but you know, that's probably to the extreme because they were, you know.
Yeah. They were, I think that she always loved them and everything. They just didn't have their stuff together.
Yeah.
They just couldn't they weren't stable at all.
Let's go, kids. Venture on our tails.
He means the bill collectors.
And if the subways flood.
The kids are tired of moving to a new town every time you lose a job.
You know, all this running around is only temporary. We just need perfect location, then we can get to work on our castle.
When you run against the dying day.
This place doesn't have any running water or electricity.
Ignore her. She was born without vision. We ain't like other people. We got a fire burning in our bellies.
And that's what you get when you get a gypsy soul like that. They're so much fun, they're so passionate, they're so exciting to be around, but they're also so unstable, unpredictable.
Yeah.
And they're just, you know, and then a lot of times they end up doing a lot of damage to themselves and people around them, and it's just who they are. They can't help it. It's just
Hobart Street is right here.
Yep.
Yeah, right here. So they lived in a little yellow house at 93 Hobart Street.
Well, let's hope we can, my little car will make it there. So.
Wow. It's a little bit scary, ain't it?
Yeah, and it looks like everything's going one way, so I'd hate for...
Oh, goodness. To meet something.
Yeah, because I don't know that I'm doing this the right way. I might get a ticket in Welch, West Virginia.
I didn't see a one-way sign, but it's just that you're hurting if you come along something, but...
Yeah.
Everything was built on hills, and so it's rough.
Yeah. And it was built, like you said, before the time that cars were particularly prominent, so.
Yeah, Jeanette Walls talked about, like, how they had this yellow paint, and so they painted the house to make it more cheerful because they didn't like moving to Welch.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, they kind of were nomads, but they kind of grew up out west, and I can't remember how old she was when they moved to Welch, but I mean, that wasn't most of her childhood or anything. It was mostly like her teenage years.
Yeah.
And rock slide.
Yeah, this is, you can already tell, this is getting to be more and more abandoned houses and what up here. Just, you know, it's treacherous in the winter, and
yeah,
a lot of reasons for...
And I would definitely understand that, like, more grown kid or teenager age not liking to move somewhere like this. I mean, look how far back it is, and, you know, having to get away to school and everything, anywhere you go. Yeah,
this is, I mean, even for Welch, this is out in the boonies here.
Yeah.
We still got another half mile to go, believe it or not.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So, I've never been this far.
What did I get us into?
I know. Things I do to make you happy.
Yeah. Like you don't love going up crazy streets way more than I do.
I know. I know, you just think about something like that too. You know, they wrote a book, got famous and all that, but I wonder what kind of attachment she has to this still, you know? Like, is it painful? Is it happy? Would you love to come back here and revisit those moments? You know, because I assume her parents are passed away, right? I can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I wouldn't
You think
you gotta think of it though, like most of, well, like I was saying, like she was a little bit older. I'm not talking like 16 or anything when they moved here, but a lot of the book was focused on the time that they were here.
Oh yeah.
And
well, do you remember? And Honecker, in all fairness, is not as much a coal town as even Richlands is, where I'm from.
Yeah.
But I remember a lot of people moving in here from other places, like Oklahoma and stuff, and it was culture shock for them.
Oh yeah.
Even as children.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they came from having things to do and to a lot less to do.
Being able to get out and walk and go places.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at this.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're used to this, it's what you love. You know, if you like being out rural and being out here and being to yourself and having mountains and all that stuff, a lot of mountain people love that. But if you're used to restaurant on every corner and, you know, a dance class right down the street, you know, that's probably not going to be your best bet, you know?
Yeah, so it says it's right up here on the right.
Yeah, so we're getting out here in no man's land, feels like, doesn't it?
And the house probably is not there.
Yeah, I'm guessing that too.
But, and like I said, I mean, it gives me an idea of, okay, this is where it was.
Yeah. Oh, and me too, as far as like this.
How far they had to go out and so forth.
Well, I questioned in the movie because it looked like it was out in the rural boonies. And I thought, Welch isn't like that. It's all on top of each other. Well, no, I'm wrong.
There you see.
Yeah, I stand corrected. So yeah, it looks like right where this little sign is where this gas line was, is pretty much where where that would have been.
Welcome to 93 Little Hobart Street. $50 a week, and in 2 years we'll own her outright.
Hard to believe one day this will all be ours.
Hey, she may not look like much, but wait till you see what I have in mind. Come on.
And you know, it's called the Glass Castle because her dad had drawn up all these blueprint plans of this amazing house he was going to have built, the Glass Castle. And you know, as a kid, like, she always had that idea in her head of that glass castle and that he was going to do it one day. And after a while, that illusion kind of goes away.
Yeah, you realized that.
Okay, he's never going to get his stuff together, so I've got to do stuff. And there was one part in the book where she talked about, you know, working as a teenager and saving up money so that she could leave as soon as she could. And like, he broke in and found her stash of money and stole it from her, and after she had worked so hard. And
I think maybe that's part of the reason that the movie pained me a little bit, is that it was very relatable, and you know, to some degree, I personally I'm a little bit of a dreamer in a way, you know. And it's like it's kind of saying, you know, I've had a few dreams that faded away, you know, that I was pushing for and all that stuff, you know, and it's just like
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure everybody does to an extent.
Yeah, I know I wasn't to that extreme, but it was like, you know, I hope I didn't lead anybody astray with.
No, I don't think anything like that.
Yeah.
But she was like, her dad gave her this kind of dreamer state of mind too. Like, she made her own braces out of coat hanger.
Yeah.
And just cool stuff like that. Like I said, the good and the bad, both, that makes us who we are. So
yeah, those dreamer types are innovative, and they're, you know, they got so many good qualities, but they do some drawbacks.
Yeah.
But they usually do have a ton of charisma, and they get people to believe in them.
Yep.
And there's something to be said for that.
Yep. So anyways, there was Hobart Street and most of Court Street. So her house and the grandmother's house. Pretty neat.
Pretty neat.